You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Tyler's unavailable for the show today, so it's all down to me, Liam. Let's get into it with the lead.
All right, we're good. All right, no, I'm just kidding. I pulled a Connor McDavid on you. I am available for the show today. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day, live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. From jerseys to hats to the legendary foam finger, you'll find it all and more at the Sports Closet. The show, as always, a presentation of Bet365. Download the app. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Some of you are way too excited in the chat for this to be a Liam show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm here too, though.
Yeah, we're both here. We are fully healthy. Why does the whiteboard look like that?
Oh, that is cray.
Shouldn't have fucked with it. That's on me.
We're a little erratic to start today's show. I like it because we are Connor McBack.
Yeah, we are Connor McBack. What a fun surprise last night, Liam. As Jeff Skinner says in the chat, a little hashtag plot twist.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming.
Chris Johnson, credit to CJ, breaking the news.
Yeah, even in the postgame, McDavid was kind of talking. It's like it was very much a last-minute thing. Said, what did he say? He's like, I wasn't replacing anyone in the lineup. The guys kind of needed me to step in, so they weren't so short-handed, and that's what leaders do. That's what heroes do.
Yeah, here's the quote. Gregor got it. It's that time of year. There aren't many practices. I'm skating on my own a lot. I'm not sure how many more tight turns I can do, which is very funny. McDavid said the decision to play, knowing if you're fully ready to play, said he felt good after a few shifts. And he really did. We can kind of start there before we get into the whole game. Like, obviously, the stat line for 97 is very, very impressive. Yeah. But, like, even in that first period, he was spinning, he was cutting, he was doing things that really we haven't seen Connor McDavid do on a consistent basis this season.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked like he was eager to get playing. And, man, did he make a huge difference, obviously. Like, he's Connor McDavid.
What's the final score if he's not in the lineup? 3-1?
3-0.
Probably.
Like, he did finish with 3 points at the end of the day. And it just gave you a bit more belief, I think. I think that's one thing, too, recently that's happened in Edmonton is that we all know this team's obviously good. But just seeing, like, the problems they've had with the injuries, they felt a little bit cursed, and he just seemed to give us all a little glimmer of hope yesterday, being like, oh, we're actually still a great team, and this guy is going to lead us to, he'll take us as far as he can go.
And again, beat one of the hottest teams in the NHL, and I know they're missing Parayko and Holloway, but the Oilers are also missing Draisaitl, Ekholm, Frederick, and Kane still. So, again, Edmonton missing a lot of key players, and they find a way to get a win, in large part thanks to Connor McDavid. YouTube chat, love you all. It's brought to you by Nation Beer. Odd Company Brewing, the Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Hockey Jockey, great one. I'm not going to read it, though. What else do we got? Connor McComedian, yes. Again, his quote to Gregor, very, very, very funny. This game shows just how much McDavid adds beyond the obvious. And, I think that's kind of apparent through all of this. Tyler Mulick with a good question. Does Connor McDavid have it in him to get to 100 points? He needs 7 in the team's final 4 games, Liam.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course. They play San Jose twice.
Oh,
he's going to play both those games.
Tomorrow's San Jose.
Yes. And then you have LA, like, might be something on the line still. There might not be. Obviously, it's trending towards probably not. But, like, you still want to have a good game that night, you know? So I think there's a lot to play for still, and 7 points in 4 games for most players is it's a long shot, but not Connor McDavid. I mean, comes back to, what was that? It would have been his 7th game in a row, I think he had missed. Yeah. Comes back as 3 points against, again, the hottest team in the league. Like, they showed Binnington's stats in his last 7 games. His goals against was like 1-9 or something, 1-5, somewhere around there. Like, he had been playing unreal, and McDavid and Connor Brown. Unreal. Great games.
It was great. Let's talk about that game a little bit last night. Coming up on the show today, actually, Kay, did you get the thing I told you to for our tease? Did you get the pictures Of the, yeah? Okay, so we're going to have Preston Hodgkinson on today. We love him. We had him on back in September, and I sat there today being like, why have we not had Preston Hodgkinson on more? He covers the Oilers on a day-to-day basis for Offside Canada. He's going to join us. Remember yesterday I teased that today was going to be one of the biggest guests in show history. Well, the interview is done, but for reasons, we aren't allowed to play it until Monday. It is worth the wait, and I can't really tease that much, but I think we can just show a picture.
Someone here.
That's all you get.
Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Could it be Wayne?
Could be Wayne. He's on there.
Could it be Phillips?
Could be Phillips. Phillips is on there. Anyways, that's your tease. I felt bad that we weren't able to actually play the interview today because, again, there's stuff that we're working on. But Monday, I believe, is the day we're going to play it, where one of these 8 individuals are going to, or 9 individuals.
You got one
in 9. 1 in 9 shot.
When you put up that picture, it's pretty cool.
Old Rexall, too. They had a different vibe hanging up in Old Rexall. Yeah, with the seats.
Yeah, that's true.
You can tell it's Old Rexall.
Oh, yeah, because Kevin Lowe's not there. It's not Kevin Lowe.
Yeah, it's also not Kevin Lowe. Also, the NHL greatest team banner isn't on there.
Yeah, there's a few things. So the only 2 banners I've gone up, Kevin Lowe and the greatest team.
Yeah. Garth Brooks says Danger Suede. Classic Danger Suede. Okay, let's
Did you see what he kept doing to me yesterday?
No.
Suede.
Yeah, dude, he put your blonde hair and bananas.
Pictures of me with blonde hair and like different styles of me eating that banana.
Your hair is like kind of blonde.
Not as blonde as
like
he was making it.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks.
Before we get into the scoring summary, your boy Tyrrell Hatton, solo lead right now at Augusta.
Yep. My team's looking good because I had Justin Rose on there too. I think Tommy Fleetwood's in the top 20. I don't remember. Abe Arberg has just started. I don't remember my other 2 guys. Oh, Daytree. I think I picked him.
Yeah, you got Daytree.
He's not doing too well.
Hatton, Morikawa, Scheffler, Rose, Aaron Rye. Heads up Corey Connors, another birdie. Yeah. He's now T5. Giddy up.
Just get to the weekend.
God, I love Augusta. I love the Masters.
It is the only major I'm like excited for.
Like every other one, I mean, I'm excited for regular golf tournament. Like I just love golf, but there's just something about Augusta when like everyone you know is involved too. It's almost like if you have friends who are like casual Oilers fans who like they watch most games, whatever, but then come playoff time, they're like, we got to hang out. We got to be watching the game. They're asking you about like the game last night. Yeah, it is. It's a totally different vibe. Why are you guys laughing behind the scenes?
Any other questions?
Could be anyone.
Someone guessed in the chat, they're like, there's no way it's Paul Coffey because the Oilers wouldn't let him. Correct. Anyone who's affiliated with the Oilers is not allowed on the show, but I mean, other than that, everyone else is a perfectly good guest. So, again, Monday. Tomorrow is Jason Demers, by the way. He's confirmed. He's not going to miss this week. We also got a couple comments in there saying, hey, does Jay regret giving up his tickets last night? And honestly, I don't regret it at all because Byron, the guy who won them, was so excited. He sent me a message right before the game where he was like, hey, thank you. Jay sent the tickets. This is a very meaningful gift. We'll be cheering loudly. And then he messaged me after the game and was like, it was an amazing night. The new Speedy security screening, drinking beers with the Jake Neighbors fan club. Then he sent me a picture of like 20 Jake Neighbors jerseys.
So anyways, cool. I'm glad he had a great time.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy Byron. Happy you enjoyed the game.
From thinking that their game, it's 8:22. There's no storylines. There's no nothing. Bam, they drop Connor McDavid on your ass. Score the game winner with 20 seconds left. You don't get a better, free night out than that. Let's go. Attaboy, Byron.
No, not at all. All right, let's get into the scoring summary for our friends at Charm Diamond Centers, where you can get a custom ring built and delivered in less than 4 weeks through Charm and the Masterpiece program. Find out more information by visiting them online at charmdiamondcenters.com. Doesn't even need to be a big purchase. It can be a little purchase, like a birthday gift or something. Charm Diamond Centers can help you out. All right, scoring summary. Last night, the Oilers go down 1-0 on a goal that pissed me off more than any goal has pissed me off this season. This was ridiculous.
It was. There's no other way to put it. It was insane, and yeah.
So let's start with maybe the fact that this whole thing got out of hand when Corey Perry. Oh, I guess we can watch the goal. But I wanted to start with the Corey Perry thing, if we have it. Corey Perry goes hard to the crease. he ended up getting a goalie interference penalty. So the refs do punish Corey Perry in all of this, and I think it's probably deserved. He went into the crease pretty hard. He was doing his usual Corey Perry thing, and if your skate or leg contacts a goalie in the head, I am totally fine with that being a penalty. Jordan Binnington ends up getting 2 minor penalties on the play, which it's like, yeah, no shit. You punched a guy in the head once and then went after him and blockered him again. Honestly, when you look at how they usually call blockers to the head.
Was it a blocker or a glove?
Okay, maybe it was the glove, which changed it.
I think a blocker is supposed to be a major.
Yeah, so again, Corey Perry goes in hard here and hits him. Okay, I'm fine with that being a penalty. It's goalie interference. Also hilarious that they don't call it till after the fact. But he pops him once with the glove, and then he goes after him and jumps on him. I mean, you could argue what he used to hit him with there. It was almost both of them. Either way, Edmonton comes out of it with a power play. Perry gets a fighting major. Perry gets goalie interference. Binnington gets 2 roughing calls.
You got a double minor for roughing?
Yeah, he got 2 roughing penalties.
I didn't know that.
So again, like, I'm not trying to sit here and like be a homer and like whatever, but like Corey Perry deserved a penalty there. I have no problem with how this all played out. I also don't think you can argue that Edmonton deserved a power play for this, whether it's Binnington going at him twice or Jake Neighbors for the instigator.
Sure, I would agree.
Either one of them.
The refs came out of it on the right side of it.
They did. And the refs are so bleeping caught up in game management and all the bullshit that NHL officials usually do that off the face-off, Jeff Skinner gets punched in the back of the head. Yeah. How is that not a penalty?
Like, essentially cross-checked, and it wasn't even like they were in the battle. It was a direct shot where I think it was Tucker, right? Like, clearly his intent was to get him on the back of the head.
Yeah, very blatant.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't call that because you don't want to put a team down 5-on-3, right? That's what the refs always do. It's, well, you basically have to commit murder if you want to go down 5-on-3. And now, Aaron, you can play the goal. How the refs miss this when it's so blatantly obvious on the odd man rush the other way? Like, watch Jeff Skinner's jersey get pulled back here.
That's insane.
Like that, what the fuck are we doing as a league? Like, if Gary Bettman ever says the officiating is better than it ever has been, show him this clip. Because this is, again, and Louis said, like, he wouldn't have caught him anyways.
That doesn't matter.
Absolutely not the point. He could have rushed the pass. They could have heard the footsteps. His ability to break up this rush was purely taken away by a guy who, it's not even like a ticky-tack. He skated in front of him or whatever, grabbed the jersey and pulled him back. Okay, all of that considered, Jeff Skinner in 17 seconds has been basically infracted on. Twice. Is infracted a word? I think so. He's been infracted with or on twice. Infracted upon? Sure.
He was harmed.
There were 2 penalties on him. You do not call either of them, even though you obviously saw them, because if you didn't see them, you're a moron, which, after everything we saw last night, maybe I shouldn't put it past calling these refs morons. And then you give him a 10-minute major. You are soft as baby shit if you're an official where after doing that directly results in a goal and takes away a team's power play, you give a guy a 10-minute misconduct because you think he was too mean to you? What a joke. You're a professional ref. You make hundreds of $1,000s a year, and you call that a 10-minute misconduct. And listen, referees take a lot of abuse. I understand that. And I think sometimes it's too much. If Jay were here, I'd say sometimes it's a bridge too far. But that to miss those 2 calls, and NHL refs, they know what they're doing with this game management shit. They know what they're doing. So to miss those 2 calls and then to throw it back at Skinner and give him a 10-minute misconduct is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing from the refs last night. And honestly, the only reason this game was close is because of the refs. There were so many just embarrassing moments. That goal should have came off the board. St. Louis's power play at the end of the game, when Connor McDavid got a penalty off the faceoff after you didn't want to call the penalty off the faceoff earlier.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous as well. But again, that one came 3 seconds after they called Nathan Walker for tripping.
Which was a clear. I think the McDavid penalty was the right call.
But
the problem is they didn't call it earlier in the game. And you're right. And they have that problem of, like, they have to balance it out most nights. And enough is enough. Like, that one, too, like, it's so clear and obvious. And in a mistake by Skinner, obviously, to allow the breakaway to happen. But you're right. Like, even if he wasn't able to catch him, just the feeling of his presence and hearing him skating behind him could have interfered with the play. And then shorthanded goal, and then to give him a 10-minute misconduct is unbelievable. It's, like I said, it's just soft from the officials.
It's embarrassing if you're a ref. Embarrassing.
I don't like they obviously like have to hear it from the players too, but I don't think it's that bad. Like for them to like be that upset about something like that, but like talk to the player, be like, hey, calm down, and he can be like, well, you missed 2 clear calls on me. Go look at the intermission, come out and be like, hey, Jeff, we missed it. Sorry. Like, at least that's something, and maybe that did happen, but to give him a 10, it's just
I'd also argue
soft.
Jeff Skinner has built up the credibility in the NHL. You know he's not that kind of guy. You let him freak out for a minute, whatever. Drop the puck.
Or, like, skate away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
Jeff Skinner.
Yeah. Again, at the end, when they call Nathan Walker on the trip, which was the trip, and then they call Connor McDavid on the hold, which they hadn't been calling that ticky-tack of a penalty all game or calling penalties off of a face-off all game. They're very clearly, again, that's why I tweeted about the game management. That's very clearly like, we don't want to decide this one. Maybe we shouldn't have given the Blues that power play. Connor McDavid is back. They might score. Let's just even this thing up. And you can just tell. When you watch a game, you can tell when the officials are looking for something because, surprise, surprise, you look at the game sheet after, 2 power plays aside.
Yep.
And if you were asked the refs, they'd say that was our job. Give 2 or 3 power plays aside and break up some scrums, and that's it.
Easy peasy game for the officials. Yeah,
It's a joke.
It's a
and
joke.
Officiating's been a joke for a long time.
I don't think the Oilers made it. They played through it pretty well. Obviously, they ended up coming out with a win. They didn't let it interfere with them too much, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Chat's funny. All right, so the Oilers are down 1-0 going into the second period. Connor Brown, his 10th of the year. A great play. I really liked that line they kind of had going there. But Brown gets it in front. Quick shot. Also, Justin Falk, what are you doing? That was just like an all-time bad shift by Justin Falk. He directly turned that puck over the Oilers twice. They bury the second one. Great little release by Connor Brown, but like that pass right there is terrible. And then the hockey gods give you a redo here, and you turn it right back over. Love that Connor Brown just hammered it on net. Love the celebration from Connor Brown too. Yeah. Great goal. Connor Brown, 10th of the season, double-digit goal scorer for, I mean, I know the bonus. We talked about this before, but $1 million to get 10 goals out of a guy? Sure.
It's kind of all you're asking for, really, isn't it? I kind of had this idea in my head in a way, like, if you get paid $1 million, then you need 10 goals or 30 points, something around there, like 25 points. And he's done good. And I think over this little stretch, so we've kind of joked about, like, how he's the one taking shots on the power play. Like, whilst everyone's been absent, he has been actually pretty good this season, especially in this little stretch. And I think, too, when you look through the goal scorers from last night, like, guys stepped up. Guys really did step up.
McDavid, Skinner, and Brown played 11-19 together. Shot attempts were 12-8. Shots were 6-4 St. Louis, but the goals were 1-0 Edmonton. I liked that line yesterday. And the Oilers would jump out to a 2-1 lead when Vasily Podkolzin found the back of the net for just the 8th time this season. I actually thought he was flying yesterday. He racked up a whole bunch of hits. He was going to the net well. I felt like he was more decisive with the puck than he's been in past games. And you know what? He ends up getting rewarded for it here. Like, again, hunting that guy down and being the reason why this pass kind of goes awry and McDavid's able to jump on the puck. And then just great play. Go to the net, make your own bounces, good things will happen. I'll rattle off that cliche from now until the end of the season. But, I loved Podkolzin's game last night.
I'm a fan of him. I just wish we could see it more consistently. Like, I think the effort is always there with him, but you need to see that 10th overall skill from time to time, too. And, you know, it's a very simple play here. Just get to the net, get the rebound, and tuck it home. And he's been a great pickup. I think pretty underrated for, like, I know Bowman.
$1 million again next year, too, which is another big part of this.
It's nice. It's nice. The Holloway loss is huge. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to be able to replace him with Podkolzin has not been the worst thing in the world. It's not been, don't get me wrong. Holloway all the way. Pun fully intended.
And, like, Holloway has 3 or 4 times as many goals as him.
But to put that guy in for $1 million, I think you've got the max out of him.
Yeah, I think there's more offense there than he's shown. I think it's maybe a crisis of confidence with him where, like, he just doesn't quite have it in him to be like, I can rip pucks and score. Go to the net, good things will happen. Like, he's just been a little bit too perimeter at times, but on the forecheck, he skates hard, he forces turnovers. Like, I've liked Podkolzin this year, and I agree that there's more in there. Like, he just turned, or
23,
he's about to turn 24 in June. So for his 24-year-old season next year, I think it's fair to have a little bit higher expectations on him. Be like, all right,
15.
This is your second organization. It's now going to be your second year in that organization. Like, step forward next season kind of thing.
Yeah. Wise Bray put in Podkolzin greater than Koskinen 2.0. Those plays aren't even comparable for me. Koskinen couldn't break into the top 6. Podkolzin. Koskinen. Sorry, I meant Kostin. I see your comment. Podkolzin doesn't fall out of the top 6. You know
I think he definitely has more upside than a guy like Klim Kostin would.
Totally.
And Koskinen's in the rafters in Oilersnation every day lore.
Forever in a house.
Second period, Oilers go from down 1-0 to up 2-1. Third period, 14 seconds in, Jordan Kyrou finds the back of the net. 34 on the year for Jordan Kyrou, by the way. Him and Robert Thomas have both been really, really good as of late. We'll get a look at it here. Blues top line. This is one of those where I actually feel like maybe you'd like a bit more back pressure, but I don't know. Early in the period, shit happens. I'm not all too upset about that goal.
No, and this line was pretty good yesterday. It's like the only line the Oilers couldn't do anything against.
Yeah.
Because this was Kyrie Thomas and who's the other fella? Snuggerud? Or is it Neighbors?
Buchnevich.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, those three. Whenever they went on the ice, they seemed to cause trouble. They're good. They're three great top players.
Line. Yeah. Oilers, though, jump right back out in front. It was only like a minute and a half later as well. Viktor Arvidsson, again, you want to talk about guys playing the right way at the right point in time. Viktor Arvidsson hammers one home, his 14th of the year. Also loved Brett Kulak in this game. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. But delayed penalty, and Edmonton was just holding that puck, man. It felt like they had the puck for 45 seconds, I think. Probably not even an exaggeration here. But a shot from the point, Arvidsson's in front. Bangs it home. Again, he's scoring goals in different ways. We even saw him a couple minutes later almost score on that one-timer, which he got all of. But, he's scoring one-timer goals. He's scoring off the rush, like against Vegas, where he just brings it into the zone and goes to the net. And here, parks himself in front and is the benefactor of, again, a good bounce. Like, you look at these last two games for the Oilers, and you think back to that game against Dallas, where we absolutely roasted them for not going hard to the net and not getting these sort of garbage secondary chance goals. And what they've done over these last two games has been really impressive. They're showing a commitment to playing the right way in the offensive zone and not just cycling it around the perimeter and trying to score a cutesy little whatever. It's like, no, look at this. 2 layers of traffic in front of the net, and boom, you get to the inside and score. Again, they're playing the right way right now.
They are, and we talked about it as well, just like the skill level that they have right now without so many guys in the lineup. They need to play this way, and they're figuring out career high in minutes last night for Brett Kulak, 29:04.
Just crazy. I mean,
we only had 5 defensemen, but awesome. It seems like with Kulak, whenever they need him to step up, he does every time. His worst games will come when other guys play well.
Yeah,
but how can you not love that guy?
Totally. Arvidsson, 14th of the year. It's 3-2. So remember, the Oilers clinch a playoff spot last night with a win and a Calgary regulation loss. So it's 3-2 Oilers. Yeah. The Calgary game is 1-1 at this point. And I'm like, oh shit, the Oilers might clinch tonight. And then in the span of 30 seconds to 2 minutes, Buchnevich finds the back of the net for the Blues, ties the game up at 3. And then in the Calgary game, they scored twice and went up 3-1. And here you'll get a look at the Buchnevich goal from last night. Credit to Sportsnet for the highlights, by the way. Yeah, I mean, even this one, he's on the doorstep. That Blues top line was just a problem. I'm not going to roast the Oilers too much when these guys are scoring because they're scoring on everyone as of late. So anyways, the Blues tie it up. Calgary's up 3-1, and you're sitting there being like, shit. Everything just took a turn for the worse. And I start to get, a little antsy again, being like, God, if Edmonton loses this game and Calgary wins, we're going to have an awkward conversation tomorrow. And then things take a turn for the better. Anaheim scores 2 goals in 8 seconds in the final 4 minutes of their game and then win the game in overtime. Cutter Gauthier has 4 goals in 2 games, by the way. And then the Oilers get saved by Connor and Connor. Connor McDavid gets his 3rd assist on the 3rd assist of the game, 67th assist on the season. And again, even the play here by Brown to just give it to him and then be like, all right, I'm going to stay floating in a dangerous area. And then the finish there as well. Maybe a little bit lucky. So awesome. Love the big celebration from Connor Brown. Again, we're getting ready for playoff hockey here. You can tell the guys are a little bit more fired up and playing with a little bit more intensity. And Connor to Connor, man, it's Connor Brown's one of those guys last year, even when he struggled, like as much as there was some amount of frustration, I also felt like this fan base recognized that he played the game the right way a lot.
Definitely.
And you felt like sympathetic for him going through the tough luck and the struggles that he did. To see him have a game like he did last night, score a couple of big goals. Man, if that guy can be at his best, he's got 11 goals now in the season. If that guy can be at his best going into the playoffs, it's a difference maker.
He really can be a bit of an X factor in a way, right? Obviously, you look at the top guys to make a difference, but when he shows up, we saw it in the playoffs. Like, he can really help change the game and flip it in the Edmonton Oilers' way. But, you know, you mentioned last season, like, being at that Washington game when he did score, and you're right, like, everybody saw the player he was outside of scoring goals, which is obviously the biggest part of the game. But the appreciation I think fans show, like, when he scores, he seems to score in big moments and people get really excited for him. So how can you not love Connor Brown? I really do hope he's here for the rest of his career. Like, I don't want to pay him too much, don't get me wrong.
No,
but
no,
like,
no.
For a third line guy,
if he loves it here and he keeps coming back for like 1 to 1.5,
I'm in.
just keep bringing him back.
If they gave him Yaremchuk's deal, Yaremchuk didn't exist. Hypothetical world. And he was $1.4 million for 3 years. You'd be all in.
Yeah, probably. Okay, I know we're going to get to Preston Hodgkinson in like 2 minutes, but first I just want to do something because one of the big stories we're tracking down the stretch here is who's trending up, who's trending down for the Oilers in that battle for a spot on the playoff roster when everyone's healthy. So it's One Big Take. It's brought to you by Service Credit Union. You can win $1 million just by saving money with the Service Big Share Contest. Every $500 you save gets you 5 entries into the Big Share Contest. Find out more at service.ca/win. So coming off that game last night, here's what we got. We got a couple of guys trending up, one guy trending down, one guy who I called neutral, and then the wild card.
Okay.
Podkolzin and Brown are absolutely trending up. And if the playoffs started tomorrow, there is absolutely no way you could justify taking one of Brown or Podkolzin out in order to leave Janmark in. If the playoffs started tomorrow, I honestly think it has to be at this point Janmark coming out because you're just getting nothing from him.
100%. Like, he's not bringing you much offense. Like, you can penalty kill as much as you want, but like, you need to give a little bit more after that too. And I think what also tells you a little bit something, Jeff Skinner obviously given a 10-minute misconduct and only played 40 seconds less than Yaremchuk yesterday. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand how he can continue to be in the lineup when other guys are clearly elevating. Like, Skinner almost won the game yesterday. Probably should have had the game winner.
Oh, that
fair.
chance was so
like,
good.
Cam Fowler did well to defend him, but like, you want to see that obviously go in. Like, Yaremchuk just can't even get in those positions, never mind finishing those chances as a counter. So I just can't see how he can continue to be in the lineup come game 1 of the playoffs. That doesn't mean he shouldn't be in the lineup again.
At some point,
At some point, he can make a difference. He can be reliable and solid for this team, but it can't be game 1.
And like, again, this isn't me hating on Janmark. Like, I know people love to put in the chat. He's not a negative player.
No.
He's just a neutral 0 player to me who's not playing his best hockey right now. And like, one guy who I liked last night, granted they only played him 8:43. I liked Noah Philp last night. And watching the way Noah Philp played yesterday, and that's why I have him on here as kind of the question mark, is like, if he stays in the lineup for the next 3 games, honestly, I doubt he's going to get a playoff game, but it's almost frustrating that they sent him back down and didn't have him up here and didn't keep using him more.
Well, yeah, I think so too. Also, credit to the Condors yesterday. Won a game.
Crazy, with nobody.
Yeah, so shout out to them. Good team effort down. I think to beat Henderson. But, yeah, with Klingberg now on LTIR, you would assume Philp sticks around, right? Like, it makes sense. Like, and also, too, like, they clearly just need players up here as well as we spoke about. Like, you've got to worry about Bakersfield to an extent, but like, if you don't have players either, then unfortunately Bakersfield is going to suffer. But I can't disagree with this graphic. The only thing I would like, I think Jeff Skinner is trending up. The fact he played so much with McDavid yesterday would show me that, like, hey, I know you went on Gregor's show yesterday and talked about like the 4 centermen. Jeff Skinner therefore has to be on your first line next to McDavid, right? And Hyman, or whichever way you want to flip it.
I think so. Yeah. Anyways, well, it's 12:30. Let's continue this conversation. Go to the Star Mechanical guest line. It's Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more about them online at starmechanical.ca. They've been in Edmonton for more than 20 years. They're actually one of Edmonton's largest locally owned and operated companies. Shout out to Star Mechanical, and shout out to our friend Preston Hodgkinson. He covers the Oilers for Offside Canada. Preston, appreciate you popping on and giving us some time here today. Why don't we pick up the conversation we were just having? Is there anyone in that race? Like, again, we're dealing with a dream scenario here where everyone is healthy and you have to pull one of Podkolzin, Janmark, Skinner, or Brown out of the lineup. But is there one of those guys who you think is really trending upwards and moving more towards being a playoff lock?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of those guys are having a pretty good last stretch of the season here. You guys mentioned Connor Brown, 2 huge goals yesterday. He was all around it as well. Podkolzin finally, getting rewarded for going to those dirty areas, getting in on the forecheck, and he scores a big goal as well. I think I would agree with you guys in that Mattias Janmark hasn't been doing a whole lot to help his case going into the playoffs. I know coaches love him. I know he does a lot of great things on the ice. And you called him a neutral player, and neutral's not going to cut it for a bottom 6 player on a team like the Oilers who are going for the Stanley Cup this season. So I think out of those group of players, I would have Mattias Janmark drawing out of the lineup. I also think you got to be a little disappointed with how Max Jones has been since being acquired as well. This is a guy that was supposed to come into the lineup, provide some physicality, drop the gloves a few times, and he just hasn't done that. So that's another player I would be concerned about.
I even think yesterday Jones was better than what we've seen in games previously, but that's also really disappointing because there was such a good opportunity for him to step up. He could have probably fought Tucker yesterday, to be honest. I think I would have got the crowd going as well. But I think there's also an interesting conversation on the blue line between Klingberg. I can't see him getting into any games unless something goes really, really bad. But Stetcher and Emberson, if you had to pick the 6 today, I think we can all presume that the 5 are locks. Would you have Stetcher or Emberson as your 6th?
That's a hard question to answer right now. I thought Emberson started slow, kind of picked it up, got to a good level in the middle of the season, and then he kind of fell off a cliff again here at the last stretch here. I don't think his game overall has been terrible, but his net front play has been lacking for quite a while. And Troy Stetcher, I feel like he's kind of the Janmark of the blue line. I don't see him really doing a whole lot of positives, but I also don't see him doing a whole lot of bad stuff. He's just kind of treading water there. So right now, probably Stetcher, but you got to hope that Emberson finds another level going into the postseason.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about a guy who's going to play 12 minutes as well, right?
Because I do think in the playoffs, we're probably going to see a decent amount. Let's say they go Ekholm, Bouchard, Locke. Let's say they go Nurse, Wallman, and then they do Kulak with either one of Stetcher or Emberson. I actually still think a lot of Kulak's minutes could come from being elevated next to Darnell Nurse because they've done that a bit this season, and it might be one of those scenarios where if you're trailing in a game, you go with the Wallman-Nurse duo to try to get some offense going. If you're up by a goal, we might see Kulak-Nurse, and we might see Wallman maybe not even play all that much. I think they value the defensive responsibility of a Nurse-Kulak pairing.
Yeah, I think it's something that you could do in a pinch for sure. If you're defending a lead and you want to kind of put the emphasis on defense, that's an easy thing to do. I think what you want to do for most of the playoffs is to keep that Nurse-Wallman pair because it's always nice to have a good puck-moving defenseman in your top 4. And they've got that now with Bouchard on the top pair and Wallman there. And it allows Darnell Nurse to kind of focus on his strengths. I don't think he's the greatest puck mover in the world. He loves to ice the puck. I'm sure Oilers fans love that. So that kind of takes the pressure off him to move the puck and gives it to Wallman, who's proven to do that. So they've got options going into the postseason, and I think Paul Coffey will have a lot to work with.
I just wanted to follow back with something on the forward conversation. Because obviously, you're down at the rink a lot. You've sat in a lot of scrums with Chris Knobloch this season. And a lot of people seem to still be going to the Knobloch just hates Jeff Skinner, so he's obviously going to be out of the lineup. And I look at it, and Liam, you talked about the minutes from the game the other night. Jeff Skinner seems to have done some things here to earn the trust of this coaching staff. Have you felt the tune kind of change with how Chris Knobloch's talked about Jeff Skinner at all? Do you think he's started to change some of the things that maybe drove Knobloch nuts early in the season?
Yeah, well, I think Jeff Skinner, we kind of saw it in the middle of the season. He started becoming kind of a not bad defensive player halfway through, which is not something he's typically been throughout his career. And now he's getting a lot more chances up in the top 6. It was a little strange to see him in the bottom 6 with all these injuries still, but he got the chance yesterday, and despite the 10-minute misconduct he got, which I think was fully justified to take, I thought he was all over the ice. I thought he was in the right spots, like you guys said. He almost scored the game winner. He looks comfortable up there. And Knobloch all season has kind of danced around Jeff Skinner whenever asked, but you can see it in the deployment that he has gained a little bit of trust from the coach. And I just can't envision him being the healthy scratch going into the playoffs, especially in a time where, this team needs depth scoring. It's been an issue for years, and it seems like he's coming on now. So I feel like to put a guy like Janmark in over Skinner, I get the intangibles part, I get the penalty killing part, but you need the score in the playoffs. That's just how it is.
Yeah, 100%. What do you make of the, can call it potential, but the obvious matchup between the LA Kings? Again, obviously, it feels like every year we get to this point and everyone's like, well, the Kings are slightly better than last year, and it's the Oilers then go in and eliminate them in one game less than the year prior. But what do you make of this LA team and I guess the Oilers' chances to get through if that's who they inevitably face again?
Well, it's come to a point where, LA has to beat Edmonton at some point, right? But it's been 3 years in a row. I think these two teams have a lot in common in their strengths and their weaknesses. Like LA is a team that has had struggles scoring at times as well. So the goaltending matchup will be very important. Hopefully Stuart Skinner is healthy enough for that. But this is the best goalie the Kings have had in these last 3 or 4 years of playing in the first round. So I think scoring and goaltending will be the X factor here. I don't hate Edmonton's chances. I think they do match up well still, and they got that star power. You never know with Draisaitl, McDavid firing on all cylinders. They can beat any team in this league. So I don't hate the chances.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, too, and you mentioned my conversation with Gregor the other day because he was asking who I'd have as the centerman on night one of the playoffs. And I said, man, if you go McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent, Henrique, never mind just the LA Kings trying to match that. I don't think there's a team in the West or a team in the league that can match that. You look at the Kings, and Kopitar is a great player. Granted, he's getting close to 40 now. Byfield, very good young player. Philip Deneau is fine. I'm not trying to say Philip Deneau's not a good player. Sam Helenius, okay. But you compare those 4 centers against the Oilers' 4 centers, and it's every single matchup you give the edge to the Edmonton Oilers in that one. And again, I'd love to see them go with that 4 center look because I think it's just such a massive advantage. As much as we can talk about the Oilers goaltending and can the blue line hold up and all this stuff, the fact that their forward group has guys who lines 1 through 4 are proven veterans and who seem to be playing hockey, their best hockey at the right time. I would love to see them just lean into that and just really go power on power, load up 4 lines that can really score and just outscore the other team. Like you said, Preston, you need goals to win in the playoffs. You can sit there and talk about trying to win games 2-1, whatever. I don't think that's who the Oilers are going to be this spring.
No, and you look at Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and he's kind of been a little invisible this season until he got onto that third line and started centering it. He's been playing his best hockey all season there, and I think that's a huge development for the Oilers because suddenly you have 3 lines that can score, which is something they haven't had in quite a long time. And you see Viktor Arvidsson starting to come on as well. He's scoring more goals. Jeff Skinner being trusted with more top 6 minutes. They have the depth to run that. You can run 3 really good lines here and a very good 4th line. So after last night's game, Chris was talking about we got them some things to look at now. Suddenly this Jeff Skinner, McDavid, and Connor Brown line looks really good. Maybe we'll play that. So I don't think we really know what this Oilers team will look like once game 1 of the playoffs rolls around next week. I think the coaching staff is going to have a lot of conversations about it. But I don't think we're headed towards the usual here once everyone's healthy. I don't know if we're going to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, and Hyman on that top line.
And again, maybe the blessing in disguise of having so many guys out of the lineup is that it's forced this coaching staff to go outside of their usual comfort zone. What have you made of getting some eyes on Evander Kane at practices over the last little bit? I know there are still some people who are going are you just going to be able to drop this guy into the night 1 lineup and he's going to be the old effective Evander Kane? How's he looked at the skates for you?
Yeah, I haven't seen him a whole ton. I've seen him at 1 or 2. I haven't been on the road with the team, so I know he's been practicing there as well. From what I've seen, he's actually looked quite comfortable out there. I think he's shooting there without any hindrance. He's skating fine. It looks like he is progressing. I have no inside information on when he'll be ready. I do also share the worries of like, well, now you're dropping this guy into the highest stake games after being off for a year with an injury, right? So I do think this Oilers team needs a little more grit and a little more fight in them. Corey Perry shouldn't be doing all of your fights, and so far he has. So adding Evander Kane in there to piss off the opponents, it'll be good, and I'm rooting for him to perform well.
Yeah, I mean, this lineup could get a whole lot bigger once him, Frederick, and even, adding playoff mode Leon Draisaitl into the lineup makes a difference. Preston, appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for popping on. Continue the great coverage, and we'll chat with you during the playoffs.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
There you go, Preston Hodgkinson. Find him on Twitter. Covers the Oilers for Offside Canada. Giddy up. That forward, the idea, and listen, it's getting towards the end of the season here. We keep joking. There's not a ton to watch right now, not a ton to play for if you're the Oilers, if you don't believe home ice advantage is in reach. So one of the things that we are going to continue to talk about is how you divvy up this forward group. And maybe we can get into a little mini lineup report here for our friends at Oodle Noodle. 20th anniversary. Today. Happy birthday, Oodle Noodle. It's their platinum anniversary. They got a great platinum deal going on at all their locations in Edmonton. If they were to, and like Preston said, I love that he brought up what Chris Knobloch talked about, McDavid's, Skinner, and Brown. The rest of your lineup gets so interesting if you end up believing and trusting that those three can provide some offense for you in the Stanley Cup playoffs, because then, do you run a second, maybe you run a third line that's like Nuge with Hyman and Podkolzin? And then are you good with a second line that's like Draisaitl, Frederick, and Arvidsson? You look at how that top nine would be structured, and it's like, man, it's hard to not love how everything's spread out if you believe that Connor McDavid can produce with whoever you put with Connor McDavid.
Which you'd be fair to believe that. Wouldn't be such a wrong thing to believe. So, sorry, your second line would be Draisaitl, Frederick, Arvidsson. Third line, Podkolzin, Nuge, Hyman?
Hyman.
I think you have to have Hyman higher.
You can't overthink. 18 needs to be with 97.
I would put 18.
That's your best foot forward.
I would, I like having Podkolzin and Arvidsson together as wingers, and I think they've done well with Nuge and Hopkins. So I think you'd be okay to have Hyman with Dry and Frederick, and then you give this one a run. I would obviously try and test run it before the season comes to a close, but I think that wouldn't be too bad. Obviously, you need to see a bit more from Brown in those kind of minutes, but also, too, they go to Draisaitl, Hyman, and McDavid so often after TV timeouts, whatever. They're going to get their shifts together. That maybe it is a good, especially on the road, too. Throw a bit of a curveball. See what you can do.
Unpredictability, I like that.
We talked, it was mentioned during the Four Nations of just, obviously, way different rosters, but, the skill level Canada is able to throw out. It didn't matter if they had home or away change. You can throw anyone, force the other team to make a decision. And the Oilers have enough skill on their roster that they can force the Kings into a bit of a blender here by being like, okay, well, you just had Kopitar out against Draisaitl's line, for example. Well, now we're just going to leave it back out there, and Draisaitl's going to play with Hyman and McDavid for a shift. Good luck. Enjoy that. Yep. Samuel Ellenson, whatever his name is, guy who went offside. Figure out the rules.
Sam Hellenius?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Couldn't care less. Sam Irrelevant.
He screwed over Jeff Malott.
Yep. Better look next time,
our
Jeff.
Guy. That's the only King I like.
Is the Malott?
I'm a Malott family guy.
Nah, I'm going to hate him right away. What can you do?
There's only one King I like, and he doesn't play in L.A. Charles.
Oh.
Charles.
Where does he live out of?
He lives in Buckingham Palace in London.
All right. Do you want to do our Safeway picks?
Yeah. I left my phone over there. I'll have to
Reese, come on.
Reese, can you just grab that for me?
Reese.
It's just right there.
All right, well, you get that sorted out. Let me tell people that by downloading the Safeway app and playing My NHL Picks, you get a chance to win some big prizes, like a trip for four to a 2025 NHL season opener of your choice, along with big Scene Plus point prizes. Over 150,000 Scene Plus points on the line with this thing. Download the app today. You only have until the end of the regular season, so time is running out. Liam?
Hello?
Last week, you went 2-3.
Yeah, my worst week of the season.
And you're facing some pressure because you got to get like 8 more right if you want to.
I have to get 5 more right.
Oh, so you got to go 5 for 5 this week.
Well, we'll have the weekend.
No, this is it, buddy. You have to go 5 for 5. The pressure is on.
Okay, this is feels like a lot now that I've done these picks. I didn't go past Sunday.
There's got to be some easy spots
This
here.
is what I've got. Colorado, Vancouver, depleted Vancouver team.
Love that.
Because they suck.
Eliminated from the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, so that's
Vancouver.
big.
Let's try to pick these together. So I like Colorado over Vancouver.
I already picked them.
Yeah.
And I went Vegas over Seattle.
On what day?
Thursday. Today.
Thursday? Vegas over Seattle. Yeah, they're down pretty bad. Okay.
Oilers over the Sharks.
Tomorrow, easy money. That's 3. We got 3 locks cooked up here.
Then I went with my heart on the next one.
Okay.
You want to guess what it was on Saturday?
No.
Oh, I'll just tell you then. Colorado over LA.
Oh, I'm picking bigger locks than that. I'm not touching that
you
one.
do what you want. I'm going with this one. I need to have one.
I'll go.
Liam has the scene points.
I'll go. Winnipeg over Chicago in Winnipeg on Saturday.
Okay, and then I have Tampa Bay over Buffalo on Sunday.
I'll go call. Man, Anaheim's been a little feisty as of late.
They've not got a bad team. Did you see that stat they threw up during the game of like they have the second best points differential from last season? Washington has the best.
I'm really torn on this last pick.
Pick Edmonton to beat San Jose again.
On the last Thursday. Oh, I can't go to that Thursday, though.
Exactly.
Winnipeg to beat Anaheim's just so damn scrappy. St. Louis to beat Utah? No, I don't love that. I'm torn here. Montreal to beat Chicago. There you go, on Monday. Bang, 5 picks. I'm going to go 5 for 5. Shout out to our friends over at Safeway. Get your picks in. Download the Safeway app. You want another Masters update?
Corey Connors.
You're watching?
Yeah.
You got it up on your TV? Oh, man. Yeah. I put my iPad down there. I can kind of see it.
I can't see that far.
Justin Rose just took a solo share of the lead.
He's on my team.
Yeah, you're looking great. You have 2 of the top 3.
Yeah.
Who picked Corey Connors?
No one. Do you have the rosters
Also,
there,
solo share of the lead.
Who has the
Oxymoron.
rosters?
Solo. Oh, yeah, he just has the outright lead. Sorry, solo lead.
I
have the picks here. 1 sec.
Yeah.
Fleetwood's on my team. He's in the top 20. Arberg has just started, so it doesn't matter.
Hatton's tied for second.
Jay has Corey Connors.
Who's my 6th player?
Auberg, Fleetwood, Hatton, Rose, Straka, and Dietrich.
Straka. That's the one I'm forgetting. I
Justin.
made a bunch of bets, which you'll get into on Bet365 when we chat about that. But
You want to talk about it right now since we're on the topic?
as well.
Sure, why not? For our friends at Bet365. Breaking news from Bet365, where every intense moment is electric. Download the app, use the promo code NATION, an official partner of the NHL. Shout out to Bet365, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. So what'd you bet on?
All right, buckle in. Colin Morikawa to win.
Okay.
That's a good one. Colin Morikawa, I hedged it to finish top 10. Then I went with Patrick Reed to win his group at plus 425.
Ooh.
He was in Group F. Justin Rose to win his group at plus 350. Hello. Bryson DeChambeau to be the best live golfer at plus 325. I almost went with Brooks, but I don't know. My heart was saying Bryson. Then I went with Thomas Dietrich to be the best debutant. He's not doing too well. Minwoo Lee to be the best Australian. No, Australian. Australian Asian. I misread it.
Who are the other Australians?
I think Jason Day.
Oh, man.
There was like 7 guys.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Plus 220.
Cam Smith would be in there.
Okay, I was going to say, it feels like a good
He's
bet.
just under the Australian category. This is Australian, Australia, Asian. That's what it says. Then I had a parlay, an 8-leg parlay
Oh, boy.
on players to make the cut.
Oh, I like these.
$10 into, I get $60 in return.
Okay.
Joachim Neiman,
Love the walk.
Ludwig Arberg, Shane Lowry just started. Patrick Reed just finished one under. Minwoo Lee, he's doing all right. Tyrell Hatton, Xander, and Colin Morikawa.
Ooh.
So I'm doing all right.
Okay.
What's usually the cut line? Isn't it 1 over?
1 or 2.
Okay, so I'm doing okay. I think all of those
I think
guys
it might be a little higher this year, honestly.
the weather's supposed to be bad tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, on Saturday.
My the cut parlay. Russell Henley, Daniel Berger, Patrick Reed, Will Zalatoris, Corey Connors. And I took Taylor Pendrith, who shot 5 over today.
Wow, I got a sneaky suspicion he might be holding the cut line.
Yeah, he'll be right around there. Anyways, there you go. Shout out to our friends at Bet365. I have, here's the big one I'm sweating. Corey Connors to be the first round leader.
Oh, and how many is he through?
He's done.
Oh.
So
what did he finish, sorry?
He finished 4 under, so I would need Justin Rose to drop a stroke now, but I did the smart thing. I did the each way. So as long as Corey Connors is in the top 4 after round 1, I'll win 1/4 of my money, which is, it was 20 into 600 for him to be the leader. But as long as he stays in the top 4, I'll win $150.
Oh, wow.
That's what that means.
Yeah, I never knew what that meant.
You double your bet, but it's like insurance almost at the blackjack table. You double your bet, but as long as he comes within that range, you get a portion of your money back.
That's why at Bet365, nothing's ordinary.
There you go. Giddy up. Shout out to our friends
I also did one of those daily lineups at Bet365.
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, those are fun. I did the same thing I did. I picked my same team.
That's smart, though.
Yeah.
Also, do the prize matching thing.
I did
Easy,
that.
every day.
Yeah, I got to do that today, actually.
All right, we do have to get to the menu for tonight. The menu is brought to you by the Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 Portable Glass Air Fryer.
Meet the Ninja Crispy Portable Cooking System. The power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hand.
Oh, you heard that right. The Ninja Crispy is an all-in-one system that includes 4-quart, 6-cup Tupperware glass containers and 2 storage lids. It is thermal shock resistant and can go from frozen to crispy in just minutes. And with the Crispy Power Pod, you get the power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hands. The 4-quart containers can fit up to 4 pounds of chicken or veggies. You can cook a personal-sized meal in 7 minutes in the 6-cup container. Max crisp, bake, air fry, re-crisp. Do it all with the Ninja Crispy. Visit their website with the link in our description and stay tuned for a chance to win a Ninja Crispy. One of you in the YouTube chat is going to be winning a Ninja Crispy by the end of the season. That's exciting stuff.
You lucky, lucky person.
Pulling up to the party with your Ninja Crispy, cooking up food just for yourself.
Imagine that on Master Sunday.
Oh.
Like, that's what it's made for.
That'd be electric. That'd be electric. The menu tonight in the NHL, there is a massive game at the top of the Western Conference. Winnipeg in Dallas. Winnipeg currently holds a 4-point lead over the Dallas Stars at the top of the conference. Winnipeg wins tonight. It's a 6-point lead, and it gets very, very difficult for Dallas to win on the tiebreakers, so they would all but clinch with a regulation win tonight. Dallas wins. All of a sudden, Edmonton's going to be facing a pretty hungry Winnipeg team next week when they play them, or this weekend when they play them on Sunday. I think if you're an Oilers fan, you are rooting for Winnipeg tonight. You want Winnipeg to win the conference because you want Dallas and Colorado to play each other in the first round and just beat the daylights out of each other. And then one of them limps into round 2 where they face a Winnipeg team that hopefully just dusted through Minnesota. I think that's the kind of best case scenario here. And again, I wouldn't mind if on Sunday, maybe Winnipeg doesn't have a lot to play for.
It's like back in 2012 when the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup. But you remember they played the New Jersey Devils with a rookie of Adam Henrique.
Mm-hmm.
The Flyers and Pittsburgh beat each other up in that first round. And they were probably the 2 best teams in the East, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
Beat each other up, and then I think Philly ended up losing in like 5 games to New Jersey in the next round, who then went on to obviously make the Cup final. That's what I'm rooting for here.
LA is hosting Anaheim tonight. The Ducks did the Oilers a favor by beating the Flames last night in overtime. If the Ducks can do the Oilers another favor here and win their 3rd game in a row, all of a sudden 4 games remaining for each side. Oilers are 2 back of LA with a game in hand. Got to be intently watching that Ducks-Kings game tonight.
Might watch it. Might tune in.
Yeah, why not? Why not? All right. Tomorrow, a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show, and also a good chance for me to remind you that we're going to be out at the motorcycle show tomorrow with our friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, or at least I will, because Liam's off tomorrow. But I'll be on location with our friends at Sherwood Power Sports. You can join them April 10th to 13th. Find Sherwood Ford in Hall C with the Edmonton Ford Dealers Ford exhibit. And patrons to the Ford exhibit can get a show-exclusive $500 voucher card that can be used towards the purchase of an in-stock new Ford or factory order Ford until June 30th. So why not swing by the Expo Center this weekend and check out Sherwood Ford at the Edmonton Motor Show, not motorcycle show, the Motor Show.
It was a lot of fun when we were there the other week, so I think this one will be just as good.
Maybe I'll do the show from like the back of a truck.
Hey, remember that one time we were powered from a truck?
We were. An electric truck powered our show. That was fun.
That was cool. Yeah, I would say if you're going to this, don't do what I did when we went to the other one the other week. And I parked in the wrong spot and had to walk around the entire building.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I'll park by the front. That's where it is.
Yeah. Did you pay for parking?
Yeah, I think it was like $6. I'll keep that one.
Keep the receipt. Okay, that is a wrap. New episode of Real Life going to drop later on today as well. But thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Preston Hodgkinson for swinging by as well. Everybody in the YouTube, see you back here tomorrow, noon Mountain Time. Oil up!